Hi everyone, and welcome back to a new Plan With Me video. Before I get fully into my rambling, which I usually do, if you guys could just remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, it means a lot to me and I would love to keep creating stuff and keep putting stuff out there, but I can only do that with your guys' support, so thank you for all of you that have so far. So we're about to go into February, so I have a whole new setup. I couldn't decide what to do this month. I know a lot of people do lots of things around kind of having hearts, love hearts, that kind of thing, but it's not really me. So I kind of pondered this one for quite a while, trying to decide what it was I wanted to do. In the end, I've settled on these kind of flowers and they're sort of branches, they're sort of leaves, I don't know quite what to call them, but they're pretty, so I went with it. And I also decided this month to have a go at painting watercolours straight into my book, which is something I've not actually done before. I didn't try it with my old journal because my journal for last year, the pages were a lot thinner than this year's, and you could see like a fine liner pen through to the other side, so I wasn't convinced ever that would hold up to painting watercolour straight onto it. But this year's journal, I deliberately went and bought one where the pages were a lot thicker, they're a lot heavier weight, so I thought I'd give it a go. I mean, even still, I haven't gone mad with loading up my brush with water. I've used the paints a lot more pigmented than I probably would do on watercolour paper that can handle that amount of wet. But I enjoyed it. I think I like how it turned out. And I know the paper's held up to this because actually everything isn't just one colour. So all the leaves, you can see I go back through now, putting in a darker detailing, and the stems are a darker detail. Same with doing the flowers, so I've done a paler base colour and then a darker middle, and then of course once it's dry I'm going over the top with pens. For my title page with my quote, I did the actual month in a brush pen, and then I decided I didn't want to do that for my quote, so I've done it using a faux calligraphy instead, because I sometimes feel like I get a better result doing it that way. I'm still learning with the brush pen. I'm still trying to make it so I get it smooth every time, transitioning from the curves, thin lines, thick lines, going from one stroke to... I'll get there. And then on the other side here, I'm just doing my month of view calendar. I really enjoy February for this because February is 28 days, which is exactly 4 weeks, but February this year starts on a Monday, finishes on a Sunday, so it's quite a nice 4x7 block. So my next 2 pages, normally this would be my habit tracker and my expenses pages. However, I have noticed, I think I've noticed this a while back, but I've only just sort of decided to do something about it. Having all my habit trackers on one page is great to see the whole month kind of in one go. However, I kind of forget about it. So if I leave my diary open on my side on this week's page, so I can see what I've got to do this week today and all that, I forget about my habits. And then if I leave it on the habit tracker page open to remind me about that, I forget about what I'm meant to be doing. So I got rid of the habit tracker page this month. I thought, you know what, I'll try something else instead. So I've gone back to having a whole notes and ideas page, because I quite like having somewhere to write down things I think of that I could do for my Etsy or for YouTube videos. And then habits are all on the spreads. And then expenses here is exactly the same. So here is my first weekly spread. So I've kept up this theme of doing these kind of, filigree, the right word for that, filigree branches around I've got flowers on all the pages as well, mostly filigree because there's not much space around the edge. And at the end of January, I changed up my weekly layout because first week of January, I kind of wrote stuff in it. Then we went into lockdown. Second week of January, I didn't write anything at all on my spread, which is the same as the first week's. So for the last 2 weeks of January, I changed to what I'm doing now, and I'm going to stick with it for February. So on the left-hand side, I have 8 boxes. One shows what week we're on, and then there's one for each day. So any specific tasks for each day goes in that little box, because like I say, the UK, we're still in lockdown. We don't actually know how long this is going on for. So I'm not really working properly at the minute. I'm just kind of doing bits around the house. I am still sort of working, but not. So I don't really need to write much. And then on the other side, I've got like a tasks and notes bit, so I can write on one side all my tasks for the week. So sometimes I might know that I've got to get something done, I don't know, create new Etsy listings or something, and I know I've got to do that week, but it doesn't have to be done on a particular day, so I can write it in as a task for the week, and then it doesn't take up space in my daily tasks, which is the problem I had with the setup I started in January. I realised I had nowhere to write tasks that were for the week, not for a particular day. And then I have the notes bit on the other side, and that'll just be notes for the week. Remember, I've got to pick something up, or if I have any kind of thoughts on something that doesn't need to go on my kind of big notes page. Things like that. Things that aren't tasks and need to go into a daily thing, but they also need to be remembered for that week. So it's kind of handy in that way, just because it keeps me organised, if nothing else. And then on the bottom of that right hand page, on the bottom left corner, is where I've got the habit tracker for the week. So I've put one on each week, just because then I think if I leave the diary, so if it's on the kitchen table open, sort of like you see now, I can not only see what tasks I've got for the week, I can see what habits I haven't done for that week. So you can see there I've got Monday to Sunday vertically down the side, and then across the top I've got my usual habits, and I'll just put crosses in the boxes, colour the boxes in as and when I do that habit, so I can see the whole week in one go. And I hope, because January I have been pretty appalling at keeping up with any habits, I hope it's gonna make me better at it. It might not, but I thought it was worth a try, and then it frees up that whole page for my notes instead of habits, and I think this is possibly a better use of the space I have, because I've definitely cut down so far this year on the amount of pages I had for last year, which I'm still hoping means I will get an entire year into one journal. We shall see if that happens, but I am hopeful that that is what's going to happen. On a slightly side note, I'm using all the Artisas. You can just see the 2 half-pound palettes at the top of my screen. I bought before Christmas the Artisa Watercolours. You can buy a great big box and you get like 60 unique colours, and I did do a quick setup video on them, but actually I'm really enjoying using them. There is such a variety of colours in there, and they're pretty cheap as well. I can't remember how much I paid, but it wasn't much, so go check them out if you're in the market. They definitely hold up to my more expensive palettes that I've bought previously. So I'm almost finished here. You can just see me now going through and adding white dots to the middle of all of my flowers, but my final flick through is here, so enjoy.